Hello, my loves. In today's video, we are going to talk about how being petty lowers your vibration and what you can do to kind of redirect that energy so that you can level up and not be stuck in an energy that lowers your vibe and actually attracts negative things into your life, like people, toxic relationships, toxic friendships, and toxic events. If you're new here, my name is Ladette, and on this channel, we talk about doing inner work, healing, leveling up, and glowing up. If that sounds like something you resonate with, definitely hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. That helps the YouTube algorithm, and that also helps me reach more people. So let's get into it. So the first part of this video is really going to talk about how exactly being petty lowers your vibe. And then we're going to switch into the second part of the video, which is going to share kind of some tips and tricks for you on what you can do instead to redirect that energy in a positive and productive way. So being petty lowers your vibe, really just puts you in a low frequency. So if you have experienced being petty before, which I'm pretty sure all of us have, it really doesn't feel good. And it puts you in this energy where you're either angry, you want to get back at someone, you want to prove a point to them. Maybe you're telling yourself, I'll show them, I'll show that person. And that's not a good energy to be in. It's a low frequency, it's a low vibe, and overall it doesn't feel good, because when you're petty, you're basically acting out of control. When you're petty, that's that part of you that takes over you versus like the rational part of you, right? Because typically if you're being petty, you're either saying something or doing something or presenting yourself in a certain way that you likely would have not if you had not been petty. And so being in this energy of being petty, of feeling petty, of wanting to get back at someone is not the true essence of who you are. And it's a really easy way to get yourself into a predicament that is going to make the situation worse. Typically, when we're petty, if we say something or whether it's that we're doing something, that energy is reciprocated back to us. Maybe it's through, road rage. Maybe you're cutting someone off and then they cut you back off and now you're racing them. Now you're putting yourself at risk, right? Now you're in literally a dangerous situation. Or maybe it's something someone said to you, so you feel like you have to have the final word, but then they feel like they have to have the final word, and you get into this like heated argument that just doesn't get resolved. And so being petty really does get the best of you in the sense that it puts you in that low frequency where you're either pissed off, you're angry, you're mad. And if you're into, law of attraction or spirituality or manifestation, when you're in those lower frequencies, you are attracting more things that vibe at that same frequency. So think about accidents on the road. Think about someone saying something hurtful or harmful to you. Think about losing a job. Thinking about getting robbed. Thinking about, someone pulling up on you. Like literally all of those things operate at those lower frequencies. And so really you want to do yourself a favor and, stop acting out of being petty. Stop acting out of pettiness, because it does not make your situation better. Even if you in the moment feel like you had the last word, you had the last hurrah, you said what you had to say, so now you're feeling good, it's not going to manifest good things into your life. That energy of being petty is at a low frequency. I think that we can all agree. And when you're at a low frequency, you will only ever continue to attract things at that same caliber. Being petty is also a sign of unhealthy communication, which is an example of being at a low vibration. Because if you are unable to communicate what you actually want or how you actually feel and are kind of hiding under that pettiness, that is an example of you not being able to speak your truth or speak up for what you actually want and desire. Maybe it's because you feel like you're going to be unheard. Maybe you feel like someone will laugh at you, whatever the reason is, right? But if you're being petty, that is an example of that unhealthy communication, because you're not truly communicating in a mature way. You're not communicating in a high level way. You're not communicating in a way where you feel comfortable just being yourself and speaking how you feel and standing your ground. And if you have unhealthy communication, whether it's with your friends, whether it's with your family, or simply with strangers, that is going to spill in other areas of your life, because you'll likely notice that it's not just one of those things. If you're unable to communicate how you feel in one avenue of your life, it's likely that way for other areas. So if you want to improve how you communicate, if you want to have better outcomes in your relationship and feel like you're being heard and listened to, it starts with not being petty. And kind of in addition to that, being petty can keep you stuck in those unhealthy, toxic relationships. So if you're in that energy of, I'll show you, I'm gonna get back, I'm gonna have the last word, you're likely going to stay in that situation until you change your attitude. So if you're in a toxic relationship, if you have toxic friends, if you're just miserable at work, if you have road rage, like wherever you show up in your life where it's an example of you being petty, it's likely going to continue manifesting more events in your life that are going to keep you in toxicity, that are going to keep you in positions that you don't want to be in. So let's even just talk about relationships, right? If you're with a partner who you guys argue all the time, you're petty, that person is petty with you, you guys are both fueling the flame of this toxic relationship where what you really want to say is going unheard, what they really want to say is probably going unheard, and it's just like this constant battle that leaves you drained and it doesn't leave you feeling good. And being petty is not, it's not fun, it's not cute. Like, it doesn't matter if, you know, you go then and tell your friends, like, look at what I said to him, like I was being so petty, you know. Like, if your friends are also entertaining that, then they're not true friends, and they're not friends who really love you. I'm so sorry to say that. I have been there and I have experienced this. But if you're surrounded by people who encourage the pettiness and who encourage the petty behavior, they likely feed off of watching you be miserable, and they likely feed off of that energy, seeing you be in an unhappy place, because it makes them feel less miserable about themselves. So if you're entertaining any kind of action, thought, behavior that's an example of being petty, in all avenues, in all revenues, you are going to feel stuck and you are going to feel unhappy. It's just, I'm telling y'all, it is just a low vibration and a low frequency to be in, and it doesn't feel good for anybody. So being petty also lowers your vibration because it just leaves you feeling unhappy. Even if you feel like you got the last word, even if you feel like you got the last aha, you said what you had to say, you put that person in check, and now they know not to with you. Whatever it is that you feel like makes you feel good right now as a result of being petty is actually not really you feeling happy. So when you're petty, when you feel like you have to get revenge, whatever it is that you're doing, all it does is cover up the sadness that you're feeling deep down, the feelings that you're feeling of not being heard, of some of your needs not being met, of not being respected or cared about or loved. Being petty does not make you happy. Again, even if you feel like you feel happy, even if you think that, you know, you got what you wanted, really ask yourself, like, let's just play a game, right? Next time you are petty with someone, right, and you walk away like with a smile on your face because you said what you said, really ask yourself, do I actually feel happy? Is this what happiness actually feels like in my body? Because happiness is also freedom. Happiness is also peace. Happiness is also bliss. It's enlightenment. So if you're walking away from a heated conversation saying the most ruthless thing you could have ever said to someone, is that genuinely bringing you actual peace and freedom and enlightenment and harmony within your body? Like, be so honest with yourself. Maybe, you know, you might want to say, yes, it totally is, but I would bet that that's ego, because we want to be right. We want to have the last word. We want to be right. It's such a typical human behavior. But when you're leveling up and when you're, you know, glowing up and when you're doing this inner work and the shadow work, you become to realize, like, no, I did those things and I thought it made me happy, but that was the furthest from the truth. That is not what brings me genuine happiness. What brings me genuine happiness is being able to communicate in a mature, loving way how I feel, in a respectful way how I feel, and honoring my feelings and knowing when I need to walk away. Because if someone else is throwing that energy at me, bye. Like, if you don't want to be petty, right? It's, say you're on your journey now and you're like, okay, I'm not going to be petty no more, but people in your life are being petty and they're throwing that energy to you. You get to decide, you know, you don't need to entertain that. You don't need that energy in your life. It's all it's ever going to do is bring you down. And then the final thing that I want to say as far as being petty lowering your vibe is that it doesn't actually resolve the issue at hand. So even if you got your payback, even if you said what you had to say, whatever pettiness looks like for you, whatever you did doesn't actually resolve the issue at hand. So if you feel like, let's just say you're in a relationship and your partner is not respecting you, right? And then you did whatever you needed to do to be petty. Say that you went and liked someone else's picture to piss them off, right? To get them to be jealous. Does that actually resolve the issue? Maybe your partner sees it and stops, you know, doing things behind your back or entertaining other people because it did make them jealous. But was that the healthy way to communicate that? By getting revenge, did they really learn? Did they really understand deeply why that bothered you? So being petty it may get you temporary results. We'll just say that, but it does not deeply resolve the issue at hand, which means that you're gonna continue to be stuck in a situation that makes you unhappy. Now that we have got that out of the way, okay, we know that being petty lowers our vibe, and that's a big no-no for all of us who are on our inner work, healing, and leveling up journey. It's a big no-no. Let's talk about what you can actually do to kind of redirect that energy, because I recognize that when you've been a certain way for so long, it's going to be a learning curve, because now you have to rewire your thoughts. You have to redirect, certain things that you would have said before into this new energy to then create a better outcome for yourself. So I recognize that it does take work, but I believe in you, and I know that you're capable of not entertaining that petty energy so that you can honestly just be happier and feel like you are communicating as a high value person. So I have 5 different things that you can do to redirect this energy next time you find yourself feeling like you really want to be petty or feeling like you want to get back at someone. And the first one is to breathe. Breathing is so beautiful. It is free. It is accessible to you, okay? And I'm not just talking about like normal breathing. Like, I'm talking about that might sound really loud with the mic, but breathe. And not just once, not twice, 10 times. Before you want to react, before you want to say that hurtful thing, before you want to get them, breathe 10 times, okay? So 10 times, and you are going to feel way more relaxed. You're going to feel way more comfortable, way more confident. And even if by the end of that 10th breath feel like you still need to say what you need to say, it's going to come off in a different way. It's going to come off entirely different, because that alone is going to make the difference of you communicating at a low vibration of anger, being mad, being pissed, whatever, versus communicating in a calm demeanor. You can speak your truth in a calm way and still get the point across and let someone know when they cross the line or when they cross the boundary without coming from that energy of pettiness. So breathing is going to allow you to, relax a little bit before you say what you got to say. The other thing you can try, number 2, is to journal. Y'all know I'm the journal queen. Okay, I love me a good journal, but journaling how you feel before you actually do whatever it is that you want to do or say whatever it is that you want to do. And even if you don't have a physical journal, use your phone, okay? Go find a napkin, go find a pen. If you don't have anything in your hand right away, find something, okay? You can find something pretty quickly, I would bet, to just scribble and get something, out of your mind. And just journal how you actually feel, why it's bothering you, like what you're feeling inside of you, why that person, what is it about what that person said or did that really pissed you off. Journal about it and then read it back to yourself, and then really ask yourself how you would like to proceed. So maybe it's still a conversation with someone, maybe it's whatever, literally whatever it is. But before you react, get in the habit of asking yourself, okay, what would a high level person do? Or what would be a healthy way of communicating how I feel right now? Journal about it. And I recognize that we don't always have time. Like, something may be like, it may be happening right then and there where you're not able to just up and leave real quick, go to the room next door, journal, and then come back into that environment. Sometimes you are gonna be put in these positions where you have to act right away, but that's why I would go back into step 1 and breathe. Because it doesn't matter. If someone says something to you and right away you want to be petty and you're in that moment, even just a quick breath, okay? If you can only do 1 breath, do 1 breath. But really be mindful of some of these practices so that situations, people, events are not getting the best out of you. The third thing that I want to say is to shake off that adrenaline. So before you say what you want to say, before you do the thing that you're like really wanting to do to be petty, shake off that adrenaline. You can literally shake off your hands, shake your leg. Okay, someone might look at you thinking you're crazy, but this is your life. We are not worried about what other people think about us, but shake that adrenaline. If you can, go to the gym, go for a run, go for a walk. But sometimes we just need to remove that energy from our body. A lot of the times it might not even be that you need to actually say something to that person or do something to that person. Maybe you just need to shake it off. And this works too for anything. And I would definitely say this is, I think, a good one for if you have road rage. Now, I'm not going to tell you to like shake your whole body while you're driving, but if you can, maybe, just shake your hand real quick, like 2 seconds, just shake it, or maybe just shake your leg real quick, like just shimmy your body, like let that energy out. Pull over if you need to really quickly and do what you have to do. And it probably sounds funny, we're all over here just acting crazy, but shake that energy out of your body and release it. Don't internalize it, because then that energy gets stuck within your body, and then that just builds resentment, and then that just makes you a bitter, angry person. No, we just don't have time for that. Number 4 is to find a mantra, however you say that works for you. So in those moments where you're getting heated, where you're getting angry, where you're getting mad, tell yourself, it's okay. You know what? It's okay. I'm okay. This does not deserve my energy. I deserve better. This is not worth my time. Saying things like that to yourself, especially with time when you're being consistent, really does internalize, and it does something within where you deep down start to feel like, wow, actually, this doesn't deserve my energy. Learn how to calm yourself down by these simple words, or by any words that resonate with you that are going to remind you that being petty or even angry or pissed off are not emotions that deserve your energy, and they're not emotions that deserve to take that energy from you. The final thing that I want to say, number 5, is to communicate how you feel. And I know that this sometimes takes time. You may have to work your way up to this, and that is completely fine. But sometimes the best way to avoid being petty and being in that low energy as a result of is to just communicate how you honestly feel. So instead of like wanting to say that hurtful thing to that person, or, get back at that person or whatever it is, just say how you feel. Maybe you just tell them, hey, it really bothered me that you said that. That doesn't make me feel good. That doesn't make me happy. It really makes me feel unheard or unseen, or whatever literally that conversation is. But communicating how you genuinely feel with people a lot of the times is the best way to actually resolve the issue, because we can't expect people to read our mind. We can't expect people to know better. We can't expect people, we can't have expectations at all. And so when you have expectations, you're setting yourself up to be pissed off or upset or mad or whatever it is anyway, because you expected someone to be a certain way when they may genuinely not have known that something that they did bothered you. So by communicating healthily and honestly how you feel and what things are bothering you, you're giving that person an opportunity to correct it, or for them to share their perspective. And maybe that's eye-opening for you because you didn't see it from their eyes, and now you understand where they were coming from. And so a lot of the times the best way to redirect this energy is just by being honest with how you feel. And you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to yell. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to try to prove a point. You can just be honest and say, hey, this is how this made me feel, and this is why it made me feel that way. And just be so honest with yourself and that person. And that feels better, right? Like being able to just say how you feel in a calm manner, in a calm demeanor, feels a lot better than doing anything else that involves being petty. And it allows you to be at a higher vibration. So when you can honor your truth, that is an example of confidence. That is an example of you knowing your worth. That is an example of you knowing how to speak up and speak for yourself. Those are higher levels of frequency than being petty. And when you are operating at those higher levels of frequency, you're able to do more with your life. You're able to attract more. You're able to attract better outcomes. And you'll notice that when you can communicate openly and freely in a loving, respectful way, you are going to attract relationships, people, and events that do the same thing. So then all of a sudden, you're going to be like, wait a minute, I got healthy relationships now. Wait a minute, I got healthy friendships. Like, there is no toxicity in my life. Congratulations, you are going to see things shift into your reality. So that's all that I have for you on this video. Let me know what's resonating down below. I would love to hear from you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!